Um, I've decided that I'm not going to let fear rule my life anymore, and I'm going to speak out. A lot of people know about what happened at the West Point Dam last night, and I'm going to explain what happened, because what happened is wrong and it needs to be talked about. And I didn't want to, because I was scared of what might happen if I speak out. But yesterday was supposed to be a day about celebrating my daughter. I had pictures to post. I took her and 2 friends and we went and got pedicures and we had lunch together and we were doing girl stuff together, and my son was fishing with the girls, my daughter's friends' parents. It was supposed to be a fun day. It was supposed to be all about my daughter. It was supposed to be about celebrating her life and friends and just being a girl, you know? And then we decided that it was hot, and we decided that we all wanted to go swim at the West Point Dam in the lake. And that's somewhere where we have all like found peace, and we have all found like happiness. And we get there yesterday and we're swimming and we're cooling off, you know, and we're having fun, and there's a man there, and my boyfriend's with me, and right before all of it happened, I thought I had stepped on a rock, and so I was holding on to his back trying to see if I had cut my foot, and this man swims by and he grabs my butt, and I was like trying to, you know, kind of just like play it off, because I was like, well, maybe, you know, the water's murky. I mean, there is a difference between someone touching your butt and grabbing your butt. And I look over at the man and he smiles at me, and it just gives me this really eerie feeling. And I have been, I'll just be honest, in the past when I lived in Colorado, I had a man grab me and rape me. And it was really hard. And then when I was on the ambulance in Columbus, I had a supervisor, as I was pulling the ambulance, I was pulling a patient off on a stretcher, touched me inappropriately, and I went up the chains and really nothing happened. And I thought it would, because there was a lot of women in leadership and really nothing happened. They didn't take it serious. So I got to a place where I just didn't really speak out about it, you know, because I just didn't trust anybody. Well, yesterday, after this man grabbed my butt and I looked at him and he smiled at me, I told my boyfriend, I said, hey, I'm really uncomfortable. And, you know, I started to swim out further to tell the girls that were with me and my daughter, their grandmother, like, hey, maybe we should leave. I think that this man is, we should be around him. As I was swimming out to her, one of the 12-year-old girls, as I'm telling her grandmother what happened to me, is swimming, and the man goes and he puts his face in her crotch, and then he grabs her butt, and she swims to my boyfriend, and she's crying and shaking because she's very uncomfortable. And then she swims out to me and her grandmother, and I say, hey, we need to go. Let's just go. We need to this is not a place for any of us to be. Let's leave. We'll call your parents. We'll figure out what we need to do, because this is inappropriate. And we're loading up our stuff, and then my boyfriend decides, hey, like, Katie, should I say something? And I was like, maybe you should. I don't know. You know, I'm not a person of confrontation, but in that circumstance, after what these girls have been through, as they have had things happen in the past, I felt like it was appropriate for him to go and talk to him and say, hey, look, did you touch them? You know. So I'm getting the kids loaded in the car. She's shaking, she's crying, she's very upset. And my boyfriend goes and he approaches them. And the guy that did the inappropriate behavior, he basically starts yelling and is belligerent at my boyfriend, and he says, I'm going to cut your guts out. And then this white guy steps in and he's like, hey, don't do this in front of my kids. They've been through enough trauma, you know. And I'm walking up at this point and I'm like, hey, Jason, let's go we'll call the police, you know, we'll let them handle it, like, because I didn't want anyone to get in a fight, you know. So we leave, we call the police, we drive the grandmother and the girls to their car because they had to kind of park far away, and I was told that I needed to go back to the dam, so I drove back, and the guy's trying to leave, and at that point the parents show up. Well, the dad comes out and he approaches the guy and he's like, hey, did you touch my kid? The guy that had touched me and his child put his hand up like he was gonna hit him, and then this huge fight broke out, and all this drama is going on social media, and none of it's true, you know. Yeah, there was a taser that was used, but like the cops said that we only needed to wait like 3 or 4 minutes. Like, I watched 2 cops pass over the dam and they didn't come down, and I kept thinking, like, where are the cops? Like, where are they? Like, a child, like, yeah, I was violated, I'm a grown woman, but like, there's a child here that has been violated. Like, where are the cops? And so the cops come and they literally take a statement from the guy that touched us first, and they are, I don't know what all is going on, because they didn't really say much to me, and I didn't put my hands on anybody because I just, you know, I work in healthcare and I have kids, and I try to stay out of that. There were times where I wanted to get involved, as there's videos showing where my boyfriend's getting choked out and he's tapping out, and people are saying, hey man, let him go, and he won't let him go. And the guy that's choking him out, I literally, before he got involved, I was like, hey, look, man, you're just going to escalate it. Please don't get involved. You're going to make it worse. He turns around and he double flicks me off, and he's like, fuck you, bitch. You know, and then curses me out some more. I can't remember what all was said, but it turned into a whole mess. There's all these people, all these videos, and all this drama that's going on. And I'm standing there. I was there for hours and hours, and the cops come up to me. I didn't put my hands on anybody, and I was the first person that came up to, and they wanted to put handcuffs on me. And I literally told them, I was like, I was the one that was touched. I was the one. I didn't even have a bathing suit on. I had shorts on and a sports bra, because I try to be super appropriate, because I already know that, like, I've had enough happen in my past. Like, I'm already like very jumpy, you know. And they tried to handcuff me, and luckily someone spoke up and said, hey, like, she didn't touch anybody. But like, the cops didn't bother to get a statement from me. They didn't, not at all. And they arrested the people that tried to stick up for me and their child. And at the end of the day, still didn't get a statement from me, and told me they couldn't do anything because they didn't see it happen. And I said, well, don't people get raped and don't people get murdered and y'all still arrest people? And they just totally disregarded it. They wanted to talk to the child more, and the parents had both been arrested because they stick up for their child, and I wouldn't let them because I'm not their guardian, so I'm not gonna let them talk to them. And the guy that touched me and touched the child, he literally put his face in a 12-year-old girl's crotch. I watched him drive away, and I told them I wanted to press charges, and they said, well, you'll have to go on Tuesday before a judge. And then the other guy that kicked the dad in the face when he was down and acted like he wasn't a friend, and I saw them hug at the end, and they said they were gonna arrest him. They let him go at the end too. And the only people they arrested were the people that tried to stand up for me and a little girl that had been violated, because the cops didn't want to do that. And so here I stand wondering, why do we have law enforcement officers? Like, why? Like, and the one law enforcement officer that I knew, he was like, you worked in this field. And I said, I didn't work on this side. I worked on the EMS side. Like, my hands are built for healing. I don't fight. You know, I am here to help people. Even the guy, after he had touched me, when he got knocked out, I walked over, I made sure that he was still alive. I made sure that he was still breathing. And I don't know if y'all understand how hard that is, because to know that he put his face in my daughter's friend's crotch, it's hard to care to make sure he's still alive. And I did. I still walked over there and I made sure that he was still breathing. His eyes were open. He was fine. He got up, he walked, and people were yelling out that he was knocked out. He wasn't. He was still awake, you know. And then to see, after they had arrested the people that tried to stand up for him, because they were like, well, y'all should have just waited for cops 3 or 4 minutes. It wasn't 3 or 4 minutes. It was like 20 or more minutes. It was longer. And they provoked everything, and now it's been made a big deal, and there's just all this drama. And the cops should have stood up for me, and especially, if not me, for a 12-year-old little girl, because now she told me yesterday she doesn't want to ever call law enforcement because she doesn't understand the point. And this is why I fought so hard to keep my kids in Harris County, because I knew that Sheriff Jolly and his deputies would have never let this happen. I didn't want to live in Troup County. I didn't, because I don't trust them. I wanted to stay in Harris County, and I wanted to keep my kids in Harris County because I trust Sheriff Jolly and I trust his deputies, because I've worked alongside of them, volunteering and being trained in the EMS world alongside of them. And seeing how things went down yesterday, this would have never happened if it was in Harris County. Never. Those deputies would have never let the man walk away that touched a 12-year-old girl and touched me, and then sit there and tell me that they couldn't do anything because they didn't see it happen. And then to arrest the parents and my boyfriend who stood up for a child and a woman that were violated. I don't know what's going on in our world, but it's not okay. And I'm scared to speak out. I really am, because I know that things could fall back on me, but at the same time, like, this is not okay. It's not okay. It's not. And as I was driving the little girl home, she's crying. She's literally having a panic attack, and I just tell her, I said, look, you gotta speak up, you gotta tell the truth. And it's not okay for anyone to ever touch you in that way. It's not. And I said, I'm sorry that the law enforcement that we trusted to protect you didn't tonight. But I'm telling you, not all law enforcement is like that. And I'm so sorry that they took your dad and your mom away who tried to stand up for you. If y'all had seen her, if y'all had seen how she was shaking and she was crying because this man violated her. And then she didn't even know, because we took her and we got her grandmother to pick her up. But like, if she had seen that the guy was driving away and he didn't even get arrested, and then the other guy that stood up for him was driving away too, when they told me they were going to arrest both of them, and I told them I wanted to press charges, they didn't even take a statement from me. All they told me all I could do was go before a judge on Tuesday to try to talk to a judge. It's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. The way that this is handled was absolutely wrong. I never wanted to be a mom, and the moment I had a girl, it scared me, because all I could think of was, how am I supposed to protect her in a world like this? And yesterday absolutely solidified that. How am I supposed to protect my daughter in a world where you call the cops and tell them that you're violated, and they say, well, because we didn't see it, we couldn't do anything. Well, I'm sorry, murders happen, rapes happen, you still arrest people, but you didn't do anything yesterday. Nothing. I would have rather the West Point police showed up. I would have rather have been in Harris County, because I know that Harris County would have handled this differently, and I trust them. I trust every one of those deputies on the Harris County Department. I trust Sheriff Jolly. I don't know why Troup didn't handle this different.